Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new YouTube video. Instead of Beauty and Brains this week, I am uploading a video version of my podcast, Liberty Before Lipstick, which is available on Apple, Spotify, and other streaming platforms. I wanted to sit down this week and share things that I've learned in my 20s. I'm definitely an old soul. I've always felt a lot older than I actually am. I've always hung out with older people, and to be honest, I've been ready to leave my 20s for a hot minute now. My 20s were a very confusing time, and they say once you hit 30, you just don't care what people think, but honestly, let's be real, I hit that in the last year. One of the most important things that I learned is I am not enough. Bear with me. Throughout my 20s, I always thought, you're enough, you're enough. Like I would always tell it to myself and say it out loud, but I always felt empty. And it wasn't until I realized that I am not enough without Jesus that it completely changed my life. I got caught up for a while in the self-love, self-worth movement that is apart from Jesus. The world says love yourself, but Jesus says love me. The world says follow your heart, but Jesus says follow me. And there's this movement right now, and you see it in brands, you see it in, people with big platforms that kind of preach this self-help type of motivation stuff all the time that always ends up leaving you feeling empty. And I didn't understand for a long time that it's because I was not finding my self-worth and my identity through Christ, worshiping twice as much as I work. And this is one of the newer things that I learned this year. When you think of the world that we live in, it's work, 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 hustle, 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 build your empire, work, work, work. And I know so many Christians who say, yeah, I didn't really have time to read my Bible this week. I just have the kids and work and, soccer games and all these things. And it seems like something that we just push off as so normal, when in reality, we are fitting God into our schedule instead of fitting our schedule around God. The way I pray is all day, every day. I pray like I breathe. I pray, in my head all day. I pray out loud all day. If I can go out and take a walk and get into nature and just sit and pray, I pray. You don't have to have any fancy words to pray. You talk to God like you talk to a best friend. He loves you. I've really started putting worshiping and praying first, when in the past I was more trying to fit God into the free moments, where now I'm trying to fit everything around God. Nutrition and the importance of what you put into your body and on your body. For the longest time, I just ate whatever to keep it moving. I'm busy working. Oh yeah, I'll grab some fast food. We'll order some Italian. I started learning about the food industry. I started learning about nutrition. I started learning about how much poison and toxic ingredients are in a lot of our foods. I'm actually thinking of doing a video in the future talking about some of my favorite herbs and tinctures and supplements and vitamins and things that I take, because there's not just one thing that will fix all your problems. Our bodies and our systems are so intricate and they're so beautifully woven. There's lots of things that our body can take to help boost our immune systems and help keep us healthy. And once I changed how I ate, my hair has grown. My hair has grown super fast. My hair was super short last year. It's been a year. No headaches, no more allergies, no more fatigue. My mood's better. I started having vivid dreams again. Before I cared about what I put into my body, I would have stomach aches all throughout the week. I would have headaches. I would have really bad allergies. I would have muscle pain. I was in a lot of pain for a lot of my life, and not knowing that it had to do a lot with what I was eating. Personally, I think if a food needs a whole marketing department and all these things just to get you to buy it, it's probably not that good for you. Let people who want to leave. Most of us have lost friends the last year. And I know a lot of people can relate to the fact of people who we thought were in our corner, whether it was friends or family. We learned in the last year and a half, you really weren't for us. You really weren't our friends. Years ago, I used to let these things get to me. And I would always be like, what is wrong with me? What did I do? What's wrong with me? Why do they not want to be my friend? What did I do wrong? If someone doesn't want to be in my life, They know where the door is. I don't want to waste my time on people who aren't really for me, people who just want to use me, people who have, nefarious intentions. I don't want that in my life. I'm fine having a very small circle. I think I learned the most about friends in the last year, with me being more vocal about my beliefs and my views, with everything that happened with Sephora and cancel culture. Some of you watching this video were kinder to me and nicer to me and prayed for me when people who I thought were my best friends never reached out to me. People that God takes out of your life, because that's what God's doing, right? He's removing them from your life. He's going to replace them with so many more people that you can never imagine your life without. And there are so many people that God's going to be like, you know what? I've got someone that needs a friend just like you. If you want to leave, you can leave. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, because life is too short and I trust what God is doing. Never let your voice be silenced and speak truth. This is a more recent thing that I learned in the last year, especially if you've just recently started following me on my social media. For a long time, I was always afraid of offending people because I never wanted anything I said to be taken the wrong way. I found myself in this place where I was censoring and boxing my speech tighter and tighter and tighter of like, okay, I don't want to say that because that's going to offend someone. Don't want to say that because that could offend someone. Anything you say is going to offend someone, even if it's from your favorite food to your favorite color to a song you like, you're going to offend people. It's just the way it is. With everything that's happened to me in the last year, God was breaking those chains of public opinion to where if you come to my page now, what you see is what you get. If you don't like it, no one's making you watch. I don't care if people like me or not. And, some people say, oh, well, that's so mean. No, it's not. You shouldn't have to silence or censor your speech because someone has different views than you or because it offends someone. Because there are a lot of things people say and they think that they're on the right side that are very evil and dark. And I'm not trying to censor or silence anyone either. Freedom of speech means freedom of all speech, even speech you don't agree with. The reason cancel culture has grown so much is because we've bred this weak society of where everyone's afraid of offending someone. Everyone's afraid of having an opinion. So everyone has to think the same, talk the same, act the same. Might as well all of us just be robots. You'll probably get hate the first time you speak out. It'll definitely be a little bit scary, but you are going to be surprised at how many people agree with you, how many people are on the same side as you, how many people share the same views as you. That leads me into the next thing that I learned, which is do not fear. Did you know that fear not, do not fear is in the Bible 365 times? Almost like one for every day of the year. It's awesome how God does that. The last year and a half has taught me to not live in fear. Like, I don't live in fear of anything. God does not give us the spirit of fear. He gives us the spirit of a sound mind, of power, and of love. When you look at, everything that's happened the last year and a half since lockdown, look at the fruits of what has happened, right? In the Bible, it says you will know people by their fruit. So when you look at what the result is from everything that's happened in our country and in the world, what is the one thing that it's produced in mass quantities? Fear. People are afraid to go outside and breathe fresh air. People are afraid to go to the doctor. People are afraid of living because they think they're going to die at all times because of the media-induced fear. I wonder how many things I would have done differently if I didn't let fear get in the way. I'm so thankful for where I'm at now in my life because removing fear is, again, it's removing a huge weight off of you that God does not give you. You're supposed to cast all of your anxieties and fears onto the Lord and let Him carry it. You can't have faith and fear at the same time. It's a very hard truth. Doesn't mean you won't get afraid from time to time, right? Fear is something we all experience, but it's how you take it off of yourself, how you take it from your spirit, and how you give it to God. Nature is necessary. Once we moved to Nashville, we started taking daily walks outside, going on hikes, going to rivers, going to lakes, and being out in nature is one of the places I get the most peace from. Being out in God's creation, sitting next to a river, going for a walk, sitting underneath of a tree, it just brings this unexplainable peace where you can just kind of be still. And sometimes I bring my Bible and I read. Sometimes I'll take a bike ride. I'll just walk, take the dogs. Critical thinking, thinking for yourself. It's sad that I even have to make this point, but it wasn't until my late 20s that I really started questioning things and thinking for myself. There were so many years, especially my younger 20s, I was very naive. I've always been book smart. I always got all A's in school and in college. It wasn't until I got older, I'm like, wow, I was literally just following whatever agenda that they were teaching me or pushing. But I wasn't learning about life, and I wasn't learning to think for myself and to question things. Even for a lot of years of my YouTube career, I just spent time following trends and trying to, fit in with beauty standards that Hollywood set or the industry set. And I look back and it makes me cringe because I'm like, I wasn't doing my own thing. I was falling in line with every other beauty influencer in the industry who all does the same thing, talks the same, has the same beliefs, uses the same makeup. There's nothing unique or different about everything looking and being the same. You weren't made to fit in. You were created to be set apart. Society and the world has a funny way of preaching inclusivity and diversity and be yourself, but only if it fits off these little lists that we have for you. Being a Christian is a lot harder than when I wasn't actively following Jesus. I'll tell you that right now. In order to be set apart, you have to act like you're set apart. I was there for a long time where I thought I was following Jesus, but I look back and I'm like, girl, you are like stumbling on and off that path. We all struggle. We all make mistakes. We all slip up. Nobody's perfect. But it's never been clearer in my lifetime who is led by the Spirit and who is led by the world. You have to make a stance. You have to decide what side of the road you want to stand on, the world or Jesus, because they are complete opposites. You cannot live for the world and also live for God. Last and most importantly, God is in control. The moment you realize that God is in control, that He is forever King, that nothing we can do will change His will, it gave me a whole level of peace and joy that I never had before. Do not let the world and let the noise and let the confusion weigh you down. I know it's hard, and I know we're in unprecedented times right now, but unprecedented times call for unprecedented solutions. I cannot wait to see what God's going to do next. And I don't know about anyone else, but everything that's happened the last year and a half has only drawn me closer to the Lord, has only made my faith stronger. And everything the enemy means for bad, God will turn for good. And look at how many people have awakened during the last year, have opened their eyes. It's like the veil is being torn from God's people. God is in control. And we know how the story ends. God wins. Thank you so much for tuning in to this podcast episode of Liberty Before Lipstick. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and make sure your notifications are turned on so that way you know when I upload new content. Comment down below and let me know one piece of advice you wish your younger self knew. Let's start a whole thread. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. God bless, and I will catch you in my next video.